welcome to Cup of Joe Canada. As always, I'm your host, Jason McNeil. Now, today on the show, I'd like to discuss a recent Canada-wide survey of it was actually a Canada-wide survey in general about, I believe it was about child abuse or vulnerability of children. But part of what came out of that was there was a group of people obviously that identify as LGBT, and there was sub-surveys done of that group. What the results showed was that 81% of LGBT identifying people that took the survey said that they believe Canada has shown, or Canadian society has shown, a willingness to integrate. However, 73% also said there's much more work to be done. Now, the first number I think is the more significant one to me, right? It tells me that people feel like they're being more accepted. People feel like it's a more inclusive society and all of that. The 73% saying that there's a lot more work to be done doesn't surprise me. That's the whole point of activism. I feel like once you've done the whole identity politics thing and you've identified as a group, you're very unlikely to be like, this group now has gotten everything we need and we're fine, right? It's a perpetual kind of vibe. So I feel like there's always things that can be done. So as long as you have an identifiable group and you're asking them, do you think you're fully respected properly in society? It's always going to be a substantial number that are going to be like, no, we're not getting our fair share. But again, what makes me, the heartening stat is 81% have seen motion towards integration and feel like Canadian society is like that. Another interesting stat that came out of it was they said, and this is based on the survey, 54% kept their sexuality or their relations from coworkers, and 45% kept it from classmates. Two things I'd like to point out about this. One is the classmates is lower than the coworkers, which to me shows that, again, the younger kids and the younger people in society are probably a little more open. Probably they feel a little less, stress about coming out, or they're less likely that they'll get animosity or rejection, or it's less likely, I think, for a kid to feel like it's going to affect them than it is for an older person. So that is what I take from that. The other thing that I think, though, is, and I got to be frank here, your sexuality to me is very personal. So if it's 54% of LGBT people don't come out at work or feel like they're keeping it from their workplace, I wonder how many are like, actually, I don't feel like I can tell them, and how many are just like, it doesn't come up, right? Because I get it casually in conversation, it's going to come up at work, like, oh, I have a wife. I don't feel like, I feel like people are over it with the whole, like, whatever your sexuality is, I feel like people are over it. And me personally, I feel like it's not really something that should be talked about too much at work, or like should be the subject of discussion in the workplace or at school. It's your private life. If you don't feel like you can come out to your friends and family, that's a separate issue to me, right? Like, that has to do with who your friends and family are, and a lot of times you might even be wrong. You might not know how people are going to react to it. So, without getting too much into the weeds on it, I do think it probably overlooks the fact that some people just don't feel a need to come out to their coworkers, or just don't have that kind of relationship with coworkers. I don't talk about sex with my coworkers. It's just how I am. It's not for me. Public displays of affection, for example, I'm not a huge fan. But the last thing I would want is for that to be evident when gay people are doing something because he's a homophobe. No, I just think that's your business. Keep it at home. And I think that whether you're straight or gay or whatever. So again, I feel like society is over this. I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you think it's easier than ever for to come out? Do you think it still has a lot of challenges? Do you think that gay rights has moved? I mean, realistically, in terms of permeation of Hollywood, permeation of just like corporate America and all of that, the gay rights movement, I don't know what more you can get. Personal level, these will always be challenges. Coming out, friends, family, how people in your immediate circle are going to judge, and how you feel about it, that's always going to be an issue. But I think we've done, as a society, leaps and bounds. I think that we've moved forward a lot, and I'd love to know how you guys feel about it. Is it, still an issue? Are you guys over it? When you hear someone's gay, does it matter? And is it an issue, too, that maybe, like, Hollywood misrepresents a little bit? Because when someone comes out as gay in Hollywood, it's just like nothing but love and admiration. Everything's great, and that kind of implies to people that that's how it is. And then maybe you, as a regular person, come out and your coworkers and your co-students or your family don't act that same way, right? I don't know. Anyway, I just thought it was an interesting survey. I thought it brought up some interesting numbers, and I think it's something we should talk about and we should discuss in terms of how inclusive we are and how inclusive we should be. One thing I would like to say, just because it was a Canadian survey and it was, I think, pushed to try and push the idea that we're not accepting in Canada enough. We need to do more and we're not doing enough. So I'd just like to say that NetPick, which is a company that provides furnished houses around the world, they did a survey at the end of Gay Pride Month or through Gay Pride Month. They asked thousands of people from around the world, and Toronto was third on the list for most gay-friendly cities. Okay, it went Madrid, Amsterdam, Toronto. Now, this is probably unscientific, may or may not mean anything to you, just something that I thought was interesting. So, love to know what you guys think, how gay rights in Canada is moving forward. You can hit me up on the Twitter, it's Cup of Joe Canada. You can always get me on the website, it's www.cupofjoecanada.com. And yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think. Feel free to subscribe and leave a comment as well. They'd kill me if I didn't say that.